Pinecrest Golf Course has been owned by the town since 1986. It's managed by a professional golf company, and it provides year-round recreation and open space for Holliston. This morning, we are going to meet with Deb Moore. She's the chairman of the Golf Course Advisory Committee. This is a committee that is volunteers who are appointed by the town. And Deb's going to be updating us on what's happening with this important community asset. Hi, Deb.
Good morning. Great to have you here.
It's beautiful morning here at Pinecrest.
It is.
Yeah, and it's very busy too.
It has been for all this season and last season.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about. Last year at this time, there was a lot of, questions about what's going to happen during COVID. What were the challenges of operating a public golf course during COVID, and how did you manage to overcome it?
Well, to start off with, we opened up and then we had to close for about 5 weeks. So that was disappointing but understandable considering what we were facing. After the 5 weeks, they decided, this is mostly takes place outside, or actually all takes place outside, so maybe it's something that we can do safely. So under the direction of the state and the Mass Golf Association, we had our guidelines and regulations that we had to follow here, and New England Golf did a great job of doing that. There was one golfer to a cart. They had to do extra sanitation of the golf carts. The restrooms were closed down, and there was just a lot of activity of making the golfers safe. And surprisingly, in all that, the play went up astronomically of what we usually see, and we have a lot of new golfers. They've come back again this year, and they're part of our core golfers now. So it was quite a surprise to see so many people embrace golfing, considering what we were going through as human beings. So I think it gave people a really good opportunity to interact socially at a bit of a distance and safely.
Mm-hmm. And introduce, as you said, people to golf. And did you see a lot more families coming out or younger people?
We saw probably the biggest influx of people were like the 20 or 30-year-olds that probably some of them had jobs that the hours were more flexible. They were working from home, so they were able to come out in the day and change the time that they were working around. And there were a lot of kids here. Kids had more flexibility because school might have been online or whatever was going on in the school system. So it was really a pleasant surprise considering all that people were going through, and they really look forward to it. I think it helped people's mental health, so to speak.
That's cool. That's great. What kind of things did you learn about this during this whole process? Anything new about?
Well, I think what people could take away from this, people that aren't in healthcare kind of learn like what you can do safely and what you can't do safely. And so it gave people a lot more thought into how to keep themselves safe, but still, involve themselves in some activity and interaction with people when we were told, we should try to avoid a lot of that because it took place outside. And I think it gave people some hope that there were some things that you could still do.
Yeah.
So I think we learned a lot. The golfers were great. They really stepped up to it. They, were really embraced the regulations. They knew it was for their own safety. So there wasn't as much policing, so to speak, as you would think there would be. People really adhered to everything that was set out there for them because I think they were afraid of we could lose that if we don't.
Right, exactly. What improvements have been accomplished?
Well, we have a lot of improvements that we've done over the last year or two, and we have a lot to look forward to in this year and next year. In the last year or so, we have put in some golf carts. We've redone some of the tees. We've painted the clubhouse inside and out. We have a new deck. We have new doors on the building. And what we're going to be doing, we're working with mosquito control. They've made 2 site visits here. We're trying to reduce the mosquito population, so they're going to, free of charge to the town, they're going to do some of that work for us.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, that's a real plus. We're going to, over by holes 7 and 8, there's going to be a project there which is substantial to improve the drainage, put in more cart paths. We've already put in 2 new bridges over there, so that's something that I can show you today. So there's a lot of improvements that we're looking at.
I think one of the more obvious ones is the crossing signs with the lighted crosswalks now.
Yes, that was something that, was needed for golfer safety. We're always, as a committee, we're always looking at the safety of the golfers and the people that, come up to Pinecrest, whether they come here to eat or they come here to play golf. And we had a couple of near misses in the last couple of years, and it was on our agenda to address that. And one of the ways we did was to put in the new crossing lights. So hopefully that gives people a little sense of security, and the cars a little more warning that there's pedestrians that will be crossing. So that's worked out really good, and I think people like that.
Yeah, I think it looks like the golf course has been around since 1986, and it's been a combination of effort from many different parts of our community too to make it what it is. Working with private and public areas of the course. I know that can you talk about that a little bit more, maybe how you.
Well, the town, the highway department helps us out a lot. They were involved a number of years ago when we did the pond project, and they've stepped up to the plate. Again, we may be looking at doing a little bit more of that with mosquito control, and they said that they would help us out with that. And we have a lot of, we were partnering with Holliston and Bloom over a number of years to improve what we were doing up here. With the judges coming up, they had recommendations for us, and we're still instituting some of those. My husband actually started a pollinator garden as you come in up the driveway, and that was one of the items that they suggested to us several years ago, and we're just getting around to do it because, like you said, we're all volunteers.
Right, exactly.
Another addition we've had helping us out here is the new facilities director, James Keese, and he has done a great job in helping us with projects that we're doing. And his position was long overdue for the town, my opinion, and I just am so happy to have him on board. He's great to work with, a great team player, and he's been invaluable what he's done so far, and this is just like his first year. So I'm looking forward to more support and help from him in the future.
Well, why don't we take a ride and look at some of the improvements and check out the course?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Let's go.
Deb, tell us about this bridge. What was here before?
Well, some semblance of a bridge, but not much. It was pretty much unsafe, and there were, a few planks here and there, and it was rickety, and you kind of hesitated before you went over it in a golf cart. But now we have this bridge that's new this year, and we also have another bridge beyond over there that looks similar to this one. And the golfers are very happy with it. They feel much safer, and it gets the job done. And we're glad that we were able to do this and make it a safer route for the golf course, the golfers to go. And this is actually the area at 7 and 8 where we're going to do a project in the fall, and to improve the drainage. That'll improve the playability here. After we've had so much rain the last week or so, it's very wet, and we're looking forward to getting that project done. So that'll help with the playability of the golf course over in this area.
Yeah, I think that the important thing to think about here is that we're always improving Pinecrest, and it's going to be an even better situation next year.
Right. We have a lot of projects on the books, and we're anxious to get them done.
Great. Deb, tell us about another ongoing project here at Pinecrest. You're standing in front of it here.
Right. Well, this has been an ongoing project starting about 8 years ago with the Patsy Pine segment we did for HCAT TV. over by the clubhouse. And since then, we've been attacking the invasive vines that we have all over the golf course. We did a lot of it on the back nine, but right here on the front nine, you can see a perfect display of what these invasive vines do, and they end up choking off the trees, and you know, the tree demise and that's the end of it. And unfortunately, we do have a lot of invasives here. People may not notice it right now because it kind of blends in with the leaves on the trees, but if you have an eye for it, you can see how the trunk of this tree is all hidden away by all these invasive vines. It goes up on the limbs of the tree, and it goes up quite high, and it'll just keep growing if we don't do something about it. So
there's a project in place to address that.
Right, there is. Like I said, we've been working on it for 8 years. We pick a certain section of the golf course every year and work on it, and then keep up with it. And now that we're going to be doing some work over here by 7 and 8, we're going to tackle some of this on this side of the golf course. But it's always a work in progress. Well, our newest addition to the golf course is clean, portable restrooms. They just arrived 2 days ago, and we are so happy to have them. There's one next to the snack shack, and there's one over by the practice range. This has been a request of golfers for a while, and New England Golf Course stepped up after our golf course meeting the other night, and they're providing these for the golfers. So, newest addition right here. A number of years ago, we undertook a project to come off town water to be more environmentally sensitive here. And what we did was we refurbished a well at the top of the practice range that was formerly used by the farm that was here. We ran pipes underground. We had mosquito control come out and dig the pond down about 8 feet, and that solved 2 problems. It gave us a place to hold the water, and it helped with the mosquito population to decrease the mosquitoes that were breeding out of the pond. So we run the water across under Prentice Street, and it comes out into that white pipe that you can see over there, and it fills the pond. We run it every day. We start at the beginning of the season, because if we wait until we need the water, the well does not produce enough water to fill it over a short period of time. So we continually do it over the course of the season so that we always have water. And we irrigate from there. There's a pump house beyond those trees over there, and we pump the water out of the pond and irrigate the course with that. We're off town water, and that's such a great thing. And the best part, you don't have to be a golfer to enjoy Pinecrest. You can come up to Anthony's on the Green and enjoy a wonderful meal, and also enjoy the best view in Holliston.
Now that you've seen what Pinecrest has to offer, bring your family and friends for a first-class recreational experience. For Heartbeat of Holliston, this is Chryso, Lawless.